Hi, it's Adele Michael, and today is June 21st, 2018. It's summer solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere. And a lot's going on. And you may feel upset by the news. I don't follow the news real closely, but 3 different friends have told me about the situation with the children at the Mexican border, and they're highly upset. So that got my attention, and it got me to thinking, what can we do? What can I do? I'm not an elected official. I'm not in Congress. I'm not the president. What can I do? And my go-to answer pretty much these days is, well, let me see what I can do to shift the energy. So I've been working on the situation since Friday. I don't know exactly what shifted, but I did get the sense that some big, powerful forces for good are looking over the children. And of course, we're getting a lot of media attention and public attention and outrage at what's going on. So before we dive into our clearing session, I'd like to share with you the resources that I use in case you want to take them further. I got an email from a client yesterday saying, okay, I have a pendulum, now what do I do with it? So because I do a lot of dowsing, and I want to give you a really good resource for classes, DVDs, and classes in person and online. That's my teacher Raymond Grace at raymondgrace.us. And I've studied with him for 20 years, and he's taught me a lot. He's a great teacher and a very, very interesting person. The second thing I use is the clearing statement and questions from Access Consciousness, which opens us up to more possibility. And that's something else you can look into if it's of interest to you. And the third thing I use is some of the language from Theta Healing. I've been trained in a number of different healing modalities, and Theta Healing is one of them. So I wanted to share that with you. Okay, so I'm going to start with dowsing, and this is a pendulum. I'm going to not use that for today because I want you to see it, and I can't really show that to you when I'm dowsing. But this is the bobber. And so when it goes in a counterclockwise direction, it's clearing. And when it goes in a clockwise direction, it's infusing, like bringing in positive energy. So that's the sequence we go in: clearing, infusing. So let's just clear our sense of freedom around this situation on the Mexican border. Anywhere where you're feeling obstructed, held down, upset and not knowing what to do about it, let's just clear that. On all levels, lifetimes, languages, resolving all the history, anything that stands in the way of that is now deleted and destroyed across all time, space, dimensions, and realities. And here's the clearing statement from Access Consciousness. That sounds a little weird, but it's pretty cool. Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. So what that's doing is on a subconscious level, it's saying, let's just clear the thoughts, the emotions, the patterns, the expectations that we have, that we're not free in this situation to do the right thing. Okay, now, what we also like to do is call in the spirit. Oops, can you see this? Call in this, hang on, just 1 minute. Let me manage my screen a little bit better. I do want you to see this. So, we're going to call in the spirit of freedom. So, we're talking, so it's going clockwise. We're talking about the situation of the children at the Mexican border, but this can apply to anything. It can apply to anything in your life, anything in the life of those you care about, the situation in our country, no matter what side you're on. I think a lot of people are upset about what's going on. And freedom not to have sides. Wouldn't that be something if we all could really talk about what we want and agree on some things and move forward together? Whew. And we are getting ready to celebrate the 4th of July, which is our Independence Day, our freedom from tyranny. And so it's another great reason to be focusing on freedom. So what about the freedom to use your power? You know, a lot of us feel disempowered right now in our life, in the public life, in the what's going on in the public, in our public life. So let's clear any resistance, any question, any what's the right word? Any hesitancy to use your freedom, to use your power of freedom. It is our constitutional right to be free. It's also a spiritual right. We all have free will. So clearing anything that stands in the way of your being free to use your power for good, for the things that you care about, for the people you care about. Anything that stands in the way of that is now deleted and destroyed across all space, time, space, dimensions, and realities. Good, bad, right, wrong, POD, and POC. All 9 shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay. Let's call in the spirit of right use of power. I know many of us shy away from using our power because we may be afraid we will use it for ill. Let's just call in the spirit of right use of power and give us the confidence and the freedom to use that. And as I say almost every time, use this as you will. You may feel it, you may not feel it. A client told me the other week, she said, I don't really feel things when you do the dowsing, but I notice that I'm doing things that I never really could do before. So I'll take that. I think that's a good benefit. So whether you feel anything right now or not, just watch and see what happens over the next few days, like how you might be responding to things differently, what new opportunities and possibilities come up for you. Okay, we're going to do one more clearing, and that is the freedom to make a difference. You know, you're one person, I'm one person. Many times we think we don't make that big of a difference. I'm very fortunate to be in a career and in a business where people do tell me that I make a difference, and that's very heartening. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, I'm really, really grateful for it. It just is so fulfilling. And we live in a celebrity culture, so, you know, we think, well, I have to be a big star to make a difference. No, you really don't. Really don't. Your intention and your attention can change things. And if there's one thing that I've learned over all my years of living and working, is if you can train yourself to focus on what you want, you will make a bigger difference. So let's talk about that. So in the case of the children at the Mexican border, at our border with Mexico, what do you want? I would like them to be reunited with their families, and I would like them to be de-traumatized, because I'm sure it's very, very traumatic being where they are right now. So that's what I want. So if I can picture that and feel that in my body, feel that in my mind, see it in my mind, that energy has a better chance of making a difference than if I talk about what I don't want, or if I focus on what I don't want. And if that's what you do, if you focus on what you don't want, do not despair. It's very human. It's very, it's just a a negative bias of the human brain, and we don't have to stay there. We actually can build our muscle to really paint the picture of what we want and then step into it. So let's do that now. So let's give you the knowing of how to paint the picture of what you want and how to step into it so that you truly embody it, and your embodiment of it has waves of energy that influence others and gives you the inspiration to take the actions that will make a difference, because we are living in a physical world, spiritual beings in a physical world. So voting, writing to your congressman or woman, calling the president's office, calling the White House, whatever, if you're into that kind of activity, marching. I know there's going to be a big march on June 30th about all this. Banding together with other people, like-minded people, really embodying your faith if you're a person of faith, and doing what you can do, because you can make a difference. Okay, so when the bobber goes up and down, that means that we're finished. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope it gives you a sense of greater ease and comfort within yourself, and the knowing that you do make a difference, especially when you focus your attention and intention on what you want to have happen. Speaking of freedom, next Wednesday, the 27th of June, I am doing another Abundance with Adele in Research Triangle Park in Durham, North Carolina, at lunchtime. So if you're here, it's a free event, abundancewithadele.com, and would love to see you there. And the reason I'm bringing it up is that our topic is fun and freedom. So I work with women entrepreneurs and women in business to help them make more money, have more clients, and feel more confident. So if that sounds like something that you would enjoy, go over to abundancewithadele.com and sign up, and I would love to see you there. So until next time, I'm wishing you freedom and the experience of creating freedom and creating what you want. Talk to you next time.